In Amy's last moments on this earth, she would feel the corn rake that she was stabbed with in her back. She would feel that rake pierce her body. She would collapse to the ground. Her lungs would fill with blood and air. And she would take those last breaths while she lay on a floor in a shed on her farm.
Hi, I'm Nyoka.
I'm Rachel.
And we are
Operation Evil.
Oh my god, we did that at the same time.
So close.
Oh my god.
Wait, was it exactly the same?
I think it was. I think it's good. Wow, okay, I'm so proud of ourselves. We're going to get this down. Shit. Hold on. This would be perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So the story we're going to tell was suggested. Let's start over. Suggested.
Suggestible.
Yes. The corn rake murder.
Brought to you by Nyoka.
And Rachel.
Nyoka.
And Operation Evil. All right, so let's take you back in time to Saturday, November 10th, 2018. Todd Mullins and 13-year-old son Tristan woke up early to start work and do chores around their family hog farm. Around 9:30 a.m., they headed to one of the barns to prepare the delivery of the baby pigs. Amy joined them while the two younger kids stayed inside the house. Amy and Todd are married. They have 3 children. I just want to give that background. So only 2 of the children are in the house, 13-year-olds outside working. Amy was standing on a bucket and cleaning the lights. But after 30 to 45 minutes, Tristan, the son, noticed that his mother was dizzy. Tristan said, quote, when she got on the bucket, she had to hold herself from falling out. When she got off the bucket, she had to hold herself from falling off. And she got down and her legs, they were just kind of shaky. According to Todd, Amy had undergone an outpatient medical procedure a few days prior. Amy claimed to be okay, but had another dizzy spell that same day. So Todd suggested that Amy go inside the house and rest, but asked on her way if she can grab a pet carrier out of the nearby shed. He told her that he would need to round up some kittens later that day to protect them from the heavy machinery that he planned on using, and Amy agreed and left. After a couple of hours working in the barn, Todd recalls that they were in the office, which was located in the front of the barn, and Todd looked out the window and noticed the pet carrier wasn't where he asked Amy to put it. He sent his son Tristan to the shed to check things out. When he looked out in the shed, that's who we're talking about. When he looked in the shed, he discovered that his mother was laying face down with a corn rake sticking out of her back.
Oh my goodness.
A corn rake kind of looks like a pitchfork.
It's a little curvature, right?
Yes, and it's a heavy-duty farm tool, and it has 4 sharp prongs. And those prongs were actually sticking out of her back. He checked for a pulse, he said, in her neck and her wrist, and he screamed for his dad.
And he was only, 14?
13.
13?
13 years old. And I'm sorry, I think I said Todd's name was Mullins. It's Mullis. If I said that wrong, I apologize. Tristan said he was just freaked out and his anxiety level went from 0 to 100 in a split second. When Todd got to the shed, he removed the rake and got Amy into the truck. He placed Amy almost like on top of Tristan. It's got to be traumatizing
Yeah.
for him. They raced to the hospital. Todd called 911 when he was on the road.
Because they live pretty far out, right? Is why they chose to go to the hospital by his
That's
vehicle.
questionable. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so he puts her in the truck, calls 911 on the road. The operator actually asked him to pull over and wait for help, that they had help arriving. So he did. The first person to respond to the scene was Deputy Luke Thompson. As he worked on her, he asked Todd what happened. Todd said he was unsure. Tristan said he had been with his dad the whole time in the hog barn. When they got her to the hospital, she was pronounced dead. Dr. Craig Thompson was told Amy's death was a freak accident. However, when he examined her body, he saw 6 puncture wounds on her back, not 4. Yeah, so the math is not adding up.
What did the detective or did Todd tell the doctor that it was a freak accident?
Yes, I believe he just was like, she must have fell on it. Yeah. So right away, because of the amount of puncture wounds, 6, not 4, that automatically raised questions, and the police started investigating Todd. After learning that she was considering leaving him, it didn't look so good. However, Todd's son, Tristan, gave him the alibi he needed and said that they were together the whole time. Just a little backstory. If she was considering leaving him, this would have been very bad for Todd. A divorce could have not only split up the family, but it would have meant they would lose the farm. He would have to split that with her. It was worth millions.
Was the farm from her family or was it his family that originally?
I don't think either. I think they just purchased it together. Yeah. So there was so much money in that, and he knew, if you think about it, okay, he would lose half of that. He would pay child support. He might have to pay alimony. It just didn't look good for him if she was leaving. The 6 puncture wounds and the marital problems led investigators to think that Todd was guilty of her death, and he was arrested and charged with Amy's murder. I'm going to talk about the trial a little bit. The trial was actually covered by Court TV. And from the beginning, Todd and Melissa's attorney, Gerald, and I'm going to say this last name wrong. It was like Fuhelm. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I butchered it. Agreed with prosecutors that Amy's murder wasn't murder, but argued that it wasn't Todd who killed her.
And he presented this in the opening statements.
Yes. So they claimed Todd didn't have the opportunity to even commit this crime. And on the stand, Dr. Craig Thompson, he said that he knew Amy, that she was a nurse in the ER, and he was on duty the day that she was rushed in the hospital, and that he was told about Amy's death being a freak accident and that she had fallen on the corn rake. However, when he did see the extra puncture wounds in there, the math didn't add up to him, so he contacted Dr. Kelly Cruz, who was a forensic pathologist for the state medical examiner's office. Dr. Cruz performed the autopsy on Amy and found the following. She had a small abrasion or a scrape in the middle of her upper lip. She had blunt force injuries to her face, hands, and knees, possible evidence of a struggle. There were two different directions of the 6 puncture wounds, indicating that she would have had to fall on this 2 or 3 times.
Like different ways.
Yeah. So Deputy Travis Himseth immediately went to the red shed to look around for any evidence. He found just a couple of drops of blood on the floor where she was positioned. He looked around for other blood spots or evidence in other places, but he didn't find anything. If this was murder and Amy was being stabbed multiple times, where's all the blood splatter? Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
She had an affair 5 years ago, way before her murder. And when Todd found out, he wanted to work things out with her. But she kind of became a prisoner in her own home. Like, he wanted her to quit her job.
Oh, he wanted to
keep an eye on her.
Keep some tabs on her.
Yes. So 5 years after Amy's affair, in July of 2018, let's see, she was killed. What date was that? November 10th, 2018. Okay, so in July of 2018, Todd noticed a change in her and how she was behaving, which made his radar go up. And in the meantime, Amy would complain that Todd worked too much. He was a homebody. She liked to go out. He didn't. She wanted attention. He wasn't giving it to her, so she went and sought it out somewhere else. And she did get that attention from Jerry Frazier. He was a married father of 2 who managed the hog operation on the farm. So it's very convenient. So now that his radar's up, he's checking the phone records, and it shows that his wife had been communicating with another man, Jerry, and there was 128 texts, which he didn't know what they said. He just knew the amount of texts there were, so he confronted Jerry. Frazier, Jerry, claimed that it was just business stuff and kid activities and nothing scandalous. But Todd was not going to stop there. He calls Jerry's wife.
Like, hey, they're talking way too much.
Yes, this is what I found. This is what's going on. And his wife convinces him that everything is fine. She had no concerns. She wasn't noticing anything wrong. But they were having an affair. And if you think about it, that's a motive for Todd as well. So now we have 2 motives. One is divorce, losing his property, losing money. And now we have another motive that she was cheating again.
Yeah.
So that does not look too good. So Amy and Jerry, they would meet in secret at the farm, on back roads, motel rooms, wherever they can go. They did.
Little spontaneity.
Yes. Amy was worried that Todd was going to find out what was going on, so she told Todd that there were just rumors around town. And just don't listen to them.
She was covering her bases.
She was. She was.
Smart girl.
Yes. And she also was actually really into Jerry. She really liked him. She saw a future with him. She wanted to marry him one day. But he didn't feel exactly the same way.
Was it more like a fling?
Yeah, Jerry had no intentions to leave his wife and family. None. Sorry, Amy. I don't know how she felt about that. So Amy was, if you think about it, Amy was kind of a threat to his marriage and family, which that then gives Jerry a motive to want her dead as well.
Yeah.
So now we got Todd with 2 motives and Jerry with a motive as well.
And they both, I mean, obviously Todd lives on the property. Jerry has access to the property.
Yes. It's very interesting how this is. So Jerry was a person of interest when Amy's murder happened. And he had an alibi, though, that he was home, which was 45 minutes away. And just like Todd, his son, who was college aged, was his alibi.
That's so odd.
Yeah. His son said they spent the whole day together working, and then they were watching college football. And the investigators went through the cell phone records, and during the time of Amy's murder, because you know how your cell phone will ping off of different towers and it will give locations around about where you're at. The pings was around his home area. There wasn't any.
So was it indicated that he was telling the truth, that he was at home?
But, I mean, you could always leave your phone behind.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were smart enough, you could leave your phone behind.
Well, and I believe they were around our age. And a lot of people our age don't have the phone constantly, with them. So that's a possibility.
Right. But his son's the alibi. So that would, his son's vouching for him here. So far, it's looking okay for him. He's got his son backing him up and his cell phone's backing him up. So Tristan, when he took the stand, and if you recall in the beginning, he had told the investigators that he was also with Todd the entire time. But on the stand, he said that he lost sight of Todd a couple of times, like when he went to go get some water in the office at the front of the barn. This is where the game changes, because now we know Tristan didn't see his dad 100% of the time.
But, in the time allotted for him to go get water, would he have time?
Would he? Don't know. And how much time does it take to get water? I don't know. Was it for himself? Was it for the hogs? I don't know. How much water was he getting? How long was this taking? I don't know. But it created room for doubt, and that is not good for Todd. So, but Tristan said he never saw blood on his dad. His demeanor never changed.
Or like you described the way that Amy looked, it seems like she put up a fight. So there would have been wounds, maybe? Maybe she could have punched him or
something, but Tristan, he says he wasn't disheveled, he wasn't acting weird, didn't see any indication to make him think otherwise. Investigators have no evidence, no physical evidence linking Todd to that scene. None at all. Now, Todd had security cameras at his farm, and it overlooked the property. And the day that Amy was killed, he was talking to other family members, and they said, "Hey, did you catch anything on the surveillance cameras?" And he went to look, and he noticed that he was unable to get any video because all the videos were kind of knocked off and hanging off of the shelf. But strangely, one of the cameras had a recording on the next day, but not on the day of Amy's
A little
accident.
too coincidence.
Exactly. So, investigators find they go through Todd's internet search on his iPad. This is what comes up in Todd's search. What happens to cheaters in history?
What?
I don't know. Another search was thrill of the kill.
Doesn't look good, Todd.
No, Todd, it doesn't. And then the last one was killing unfaithful women.
You screwed yourself, Todd.
Todd. What is happening? So, from what I've learned from like all this true crime stuff, it seems to me that it's never quite a good idea to take the stand at your own trial.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right. Shouldn't do it. But Todd did take the stand at his trial, and he was on the stand answering questions for 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yes.
Wow.
They asked him questions including, why didn't he call 911 right away? Why didn't he? Why did he just take the tool out of her and put her in the truck and then call 911?
Yeah, because
is that your natural reaction?
Yeah, I mean, don't they teach you to leave an object? Because, if you pull it out, then you could bleed.
Yeah.
You could bleed out.
Wouldn't you be so distraught driving too? Wouldn't you just right away call 911?
I mean...
Or tell your son to?
You would think.
Something? So they questioned that, and I think that's a good thing to question. His response, quote, I just wanted to help her. I just wanted to, let's go to the hospital. There's something wrong. I'm a doer, I guess. I
could understand that if she's still, physically, help me, conscious.
Right. But there's no mention of her talking.
Mm-mm.
So he's like, I'm a doer, I guess. I wanted to help. I was in reaction mode. I wanted to get her to the hospital. End quote. A lot of stuttering in that. I try to emphasize on that. I don't know if you picked that up. I don't know if you were picking up what I was throwing down.
So was it like he was trying to make you believe that?
I guess. So the security cameras, they asked him about that, and he said he believed that his cats had accidentally knocked the antennas off of the window ledge while they were trying to find a warm spot to sit.
He's got an answer for everything.
Oh, and this is good too. No recordings for 2 weeks leading up to Amy's death. And the reason he gave for the one camera that suddenly started working the very next day after Amy's death, Todd said that after talking to family members and asked if he got anything on the security camera, he went to check on it, noticed it was knocked over, which we talked about earlier, and so he picked it up. And that's why the next day
that it worked. I mean, I guess you could believe that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
That's a big maybe, maybe not.
I don't know. And then regarding the internet searches, which let's take a refresher on that. What did he say? Let's see. What happens to cheaters in history? Thrill of the kill and killing unfaithful women. Sounds completely innocent to me.
And there was something about Aztec times. Aztec, cheating and... Bizarre.
Very bizarre. So, you know what he said about that? He didn't search those things.
Did he say who did then? Was it the cat?
No. He has no idea. Who would or who did?
Weren't some of the searches like 2:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning?
I don't know. Were they? I bet they were.
Don't hold me to it, but I think I heard on something.
It might happen because when you work on a farm, I mean, you're busy.
I mean, when I would do my weird searches,
You only
it would
have
be
time.
late at night.
I mean, the only time you have working on a farm is to stop to kill your wife. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. We don't know that. We don't know, Todd.
We're just going by the evidence.
We're just talking facts here. Okay, so it just doesn't look good. There's a lot of questionable things. They end up talking to one juror after the fact. And they said that the jury was actually split when they were going into deliberations.
Oh man, I bet they had a heck of a time.
I bet. This juror, this juror stayed anonymous. I don't know the name, gender, or anything. But this person said that probably half said he was guilty and the rest were undecided. After 7 hours, the verdict came back to guilty, murder, first degree. That juror talked about, they said that they talked about all the different scenarios and all the events and the things that just did not add up. One being the 911 call. Why did he wait?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, taking the stand. Why did he take the stand? Third, he seemed cold at the trial, emotionless.
I thought that too, like psychotic or...
And it's like,
psychopath?
Is he grieving that way? I know everybody grieves differently, but when they think that he looked that cold, I don't know. And then the fourth thing was the internet searches.
Mm-hmm.
These are the 4 things that really did him in.
Okay.
To be convicted.
Did they ever talk about a possibility of maybe the oldest child doing the searches?
No.
And the reason why I ask that is because Amy had expressed to her, I think it was her brother, that she knew that Tristan would be really mad because she had told her brother that she wanted a divorce, that she wasn't happy with Todd. And she knew that Todd would be upset. And she knew that Tristan would be would be angry.
Sure.
Which, at that age. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, please forgive me, anyone that thinks I'm trying to speak ill of her child. I'm not. It's just...
No, we're just thinking out everything.
Right. From aspects of all areas.
Yes. I think that's a good angle to look at. I don't know. And then it's like, well, why would it even look suspicious in the first place? Okay, the pet carrier wasn't where he told Amy. Mm-hmm. This is hours later, though.
Wouldn't you think, too, though, that, like, if she wasn't feeling good and he was like, go on to the house and just rest.
Yeah.
After having the surgery and the dizzy spell. Wouldn't you think that after, say, I don't know, 5-10 minutes that you would run to the house or send your child to the house and say, hey, go check on mom, or I'll be right back, I'll check on her, make sure she got to the house.
And why would you even ask her to get the pet carrier anyway?
If you were that concerned, yeah.
Like, it would take him a second to just go out of his way and do that when he was finished doing whatever.
Yeah, and I mean... From what I gathered, too, was that she was a hard worker. She loved to work. And maybe she was like, oh, I need to do something. I don't want to not help. So maybe he said that to her to just kind of suffice. Like, okay, well, you can do this, but then go rest.
That's a good point, too. But why would he send... Do you think he maybe sent Tristan in so someone else discovered her body?
I mean, I guess if he was like a psychopath, that would make sense. But at the same time, like, why would you do that to your child?
Because he doesn't want to get caught. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew she was cheating.
Maybe all his emotions and feelings about her were just turned off.
It could have been. And she's obviously done this multiple times. She wasn't happy. He made her quit her nursing job so she could stay home and he can keep an eye on her. So what does she do? She just cheats close to home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe this affected him really emotionally. Maybe that would explain why he would send his kid to go find her.
But then at the same time, it's like, okay, there was no blood on him. There was no blood splatter throughout. They have no physical evidence linking him to murdering Amy.
And there was never any evidence of like a third person like hired or anything like that.
Right. And
Like
if Amy really was dizzy and she really had some kind of operation days prior, like they said, and I don't know what kind of operation she had, is it possible she could have fallen, gotten back up, maybe it fell again?
I mean, just trying to figure out, like,
I don't know.
You know, even if a rake, a regular rake, is on the ground, how would you fall on that?
I don't know.
To puncture yourself twice.
It's very questionable, this whole thing. And I'm going to post a picture on our Facebook and Instagram of the murder weapon or accident, whatever, the corn rake. I'm going to post a picture of that so you can see exactly what we're talking about. It's all of this is very questionable, but I can see where the jury questioned those 4 things. Like, okay, the 911 call, weird. Taking the stand, weird. Seeming cold, that's odd. Internet searches, that looks horrible. So
it makes you think too, why are these people so stupid to do these searches? Do they just honestly think they're not going to get caught?
I mean, it seems like the police always check search histories and things.
That's like the first go-to.
Yeah.
Even if you delete them.
Yeah, they can even recover that. It's very odd. It just seems like there's so much motive everywhere. There's motive for Todd. There's motive for Jerry. There's also a possibility of it being an accident. So,
what about Jerry's wife? Did she ever know that? I can't remember what you said. Did she ever find out? Well, she knows now.
Yeah, she knows now, but during the time, she wasn't concerned. Like, when Todd called her, she put his mind at ease. Like, no way. I have no concerns. You shouldn't be concerned. So, obviously, she didn't feel anything weird there, but obviously she should have. But,
well, maybe they had an open relationship, too.
Maybe. It's hard to say.
Just thinking, again, about all the possibilities.
But then again, Jerry didn't want his wife to find out because he didn't want to leave his family. He didn't want to break up his family.
That X's that out.
Yeah, I think that does X that out. So he was guilty, murder, first degree, no opportunity for parole in the future. Todd hired a new legal team after the fact and submitted a motion for a new trial as he awaited his sentencing. Todd's motion claimed that his lawyers disregarded his guidance to argue that Amy died from an accident right from the start. They automatically went to, yeah, she was murdered.
Yeah, you can
just
hear
not by Todd.
The lawyer in the the opening argument toward the end, basically like, it was homicide, but it wasn't him. It wasn't Todd.
Yeah. When it would have been better to be like, to leave it up to the jury to determine if this was an accident instead of taking that idea completely out of their head. So I can see where he's coming from when it comes to hiring a new legal team. His motion was denied, and he was sentenced to life in prison, no parole. You got more on this, though.
Also, one of the arguments, too, was that the Assistant Attorney General, Maureen Hughes, that there was misconduct because she suggested that you could hear in the 911 call, "Go to hell, cheating whore." Like when he's on the phone with 911.
Oh my God.
Like he says it under his breath. And they play it in the courtroom for everyone. I honestly couldn't make out that that's what was being said. I'm sure there's other people that can hear that. But it was kind of like it was suggested to the jury. But the jury disregarded that anyways. Because, from my understanding, they didn't hear it either. They did not hear him say that on the tape.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one of the issues that they try to use to get a new trial.
Oh, that's a good point. If they brought that up, I didn't realize that was brought up. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the 911 call.
Yeah, like I said, I don't hear it.
Yeah.
But it's easy to, when someone says, just like you watch ghost videos, right?
Right, in the EVPs, it says, "Hello, I am Todd."
That's what it reminded me of.
So you hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think that lawyer was just doing her job.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any misconduct there.
So is there a chance in the future that you think that he could get a new trial?
Well, unless you already said that was denied.
Yeah.
So the most current information that I found was as of May of this year, they filed another petition or whatever for a new trial.
Okay.
And the argument,
but like didn't COVID delay stuff too?
COVID delayed the sentencing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was and also he had changed lawyers. So that's why the sentencing wasn't done until, September 2020.
Okay.
After the trial.
Yeah.
And then, so May 23rd, 2021, both sides, the defense and the prosecution, presented arguments. And the argument for the defense was kind of the same as what you had already touched on, that, argued whether or not there was enough evidence to convict Todd.
Mm-hmm.
In the appeal brief that was filed by Aaron Hamrock, or Hammock, I'm not for sure which one, I think it's Hammock, and Robert Larson, there was insufficient evidence presented at the trial to support a first-degree murder conviction, and that Todd should have been granted his previous 2 motions for a new trial. The timeline of events it was impossible for him to commit this murder. They argued that Todd would have had to have ran more than 100 yards to kill his wife, compose himself, and then resume work, unbeknownst to his son.
And probably change clothes too.
Yeah, I mean, like you talked about with the blood.
Yeah.
And he also, a touch with, in this statement involving children, like a conspiracy, there was a conspiracy that, Todd involved his son to kind of cover for him or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
To give him that alibi.
Mm-hmm.
Which he did at first.
Yeah, I didn't look too much into that because I'm
interesting. Yeah.
Let them sort that out. I don't want to touch that. Like I said earlier, I don't want to. I mean, we're talking about a child here,
Yeah, I mean, just a teenager, a young teenager.
Yeah. And this was when they filed the motion for the retrial this second time. This was less than a week after the conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, no, I think that was... Let me step that back.
Okay.
They did the sentencing.
Yes.
And then less than a week, he was already doing his appeal.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was denied. And then just in May, again, the appeal. Second attempt.
So that day, it's kind of sad because I guess all the kids, they lost both their parents that same day.
Yeah.
And do you have a thought on this? Do you lean one way versus the other? I mean, we have a couple of different guys in the picture. We have a possible freak accident. I mean, what do you guys think? I would love to know what our listeners think. Do you think Todd's guilty? Do you think it was an accident? And why do you think that?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know.
Yeah, we would love to hear the different thoughts and theories.
Because I know for me, researching this, like 1 minute I'm like, he didn't do this. But then I was like, he did this because of all the things.
Yeah.
That just sounded weird.
But then, like you said,
but then
the lack of blood doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but the blood situation and the time frame that would have been needed, and how did no one hear her scream? But then why was the security cameras off? I don't know. I felt like this one was like an emotional roller coaster.
And you would think, too, if it was a person that, I don't know, just showed up at the farm to rob them or something, you would have thought, too, that someone else would have seen him or her.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have done something to someone else. I don't know.
I don't know either.
This is a puzzler.
It really is. I would really like to know what you guys think. I think this was a good suggestion. And by the way, thank you guys for giving us so many suggestions. We actually have a list compiling of some really fantastic crime stories that we definitely want to get to. We're going to sprinkle those in.
Yeah, and there's some stories that we didn't know. Like, we didn't know about Amy's story.
I had no idea. Never heard about it. And it was definitely fascinating.
And let's tell you guys a little bit. We don't have much detail about Amy. Just that she loved the outdoors. She liked to fish. Her favorite thing, of course, was being a mother.
Yeah.
She
was a nurse. And
yeah. And I think what else was it? Hiking. She loved to hike.
Yes, hiking was part of that.
She loved being outdoors. And then one little side note too. Her father, or actually no, I think it's her mother. Her stepfather, Randy, and her mother, Peggy Munson, they are suing for wrongful death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have asked for a reasonable compensation, and it is for mental health treatment. And it is also compensation for Amy's estate and for the children.
Oh.
And at some point, Todd was ordered to pay restitution of $150,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's solely for... I mean, of course, you know, her whole family is distraught. Her and her brother were really close. Really close. And they had been through some family trauma. Their grandmother had passed away, I think in 2018. And then there was an uncle that was, I think he had like a brain aneurysm or something.
Oh, man.
So he had to go through rehab and things like that. They didn't think he was going to make it.
Yeah.
So, you know, they went through some trauma. Yeah. And, you know, just, they sound like they were there for each other, really close. So I think, I don't know, I think the mother is just looking out for those kids.
I hope so. Man, those kids, I feel horrible for them losing both their parents in the same day.
And
everything they know.
Tristan have to testify, right? He testified. Yeah. And then I'm sure, you know,
discovering his mother in general, I'm sure the therapy for years.
Yeah, and being interviewed by law enforcement and so forth.
That's a horrible, horrible thing. But yeah, guys, we thank you for all your suggestions, and we'd like to know your thoughts. let us know. Give us some reviews if you're liking what you're hearing. Let us know. We finally are on Apple Podcast as well as Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're on lots of different platforms now, so I'm going to put that out on social media as well. Do you have anything else for us?
We're still working on that microphone and the
Yes.
sound thing.
I'm trying so hard, people. Bear with me. I am going to figure this out if it's the last thing I do. So, and hopefully we'll have some little things to give out soon, like stickers and whatnot. We're working on that as well.
Mayoko cannot, it's like, stand the excitement. She's so looking forward to getting these items out there.
Yes, I am. I mean, I'm so excited about stickers out of all things.
Koozies.
Yeah, and yeah, we want some koozies too. That would be cool. But yeah, we're working on all these things. So thank you guys for listening to another episode. We're officially at episode 5. Woohoo!
And we can't give you a sneak peek of next week because we haven't made a decision yet.
That's right. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. We're going in a couple different directions.
Yes. Oh, I do want to say one thing. Because we've been randomly putting out episodes. Like I haven't been sticking to a certain day as I would like to.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is my plan is to put episodes out on Mondays. Early Mondays. So I hope you guys are okay with that. We also plan on hopefully doing bonus episodes here and there too.
There's a certain someone that we absolutely love that puts her podcasts, or not her podcast, but her
videos.
Yeah, on Mondays. So.
Yes. Do you hear that?
Was that a truck?
I think that was, I don't know, I think so.
Excuse the loud truck.
Yeah,
or
please.
Car, whatever it was.
If you can hear it, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can hear everything. But anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week. How should we end this?
We always just end
We
it.
need something clever. If you guys got any ideas for
We need like a
cleverness,
tagline, a hook line, something.
Yeah.
Other than just bye.
All right. See you later. All right. So I guess just bye. Bye.
Bye.